The tabloids are screaming about a lawsuit, but they are missing the actual story because this isn't just a legal battle. It looks like a systematic exile from the one world she tried hardest to conquer. While everyone is reading the court papers, we found the real reason the luxury world is slamming the door, and the email trail goes deeper than you think. This is the real timeline of how the Duchess of Sussex went from the most sought-after style icon in the world to a figure that the biggest luxury houses are actively avoiding. We are going into the deleted evidence that the mainstream media is ignoring and detailing the industry fallout that has left her brand in a state of absolute chaos. Now, before we get into the timeline they're trying to scrub, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. The mainstream media is currently being paid to bury this story, but I am showing you the receipts they deleted and the context they are too scared to post. Don't let the PR spin win. Join the drip right now. To understand why the fashion world has turned its back on Meghan, we have to look at the evidence that was hiding in plain sight. Look at the timestamp on this deleted IG story from a prominent celebrity stylist back in late 2023, which hinted at a major house pulling a loaner dress just hours before an event. This was the first domino to fall in what has become a total fashion blackout. For years, the narrative was that Meghan Markle was the ultimate influencer who could sell out a handbag in seconds. But behind the scenes, the industry plant logic was starting to fail. High-end luxury brands like Chanel, Dior, and Louis Vuitton do not operate like fast fashion labels. They rely on an aura of exclusivity and what insiders call the quiet luxury of heritage. When Meghan transitioned from a working royal to a global celebrity brand, the tension began. We have to talk about the second biggest revelation, which is the sample size controversy and the merchantability issue. According to a source close to a major French fashion house, the issue wasn't just about the clothes, but about the baggage that came with them. When a brand dresses a celebrity, they are looking for a seamless association with their values. However, the constant litigation and public disputes surrounding the Sussexes became a liability that luxury houses simply did not want to manage. They viewed her brand as too volatile for the controlled environment of high fashion. This leads us directly into our number one revelation, which is the industry secret that has been whispered about in Parisian boardrooms for months. There is a documented internal memo circulating among the top-tier editors and creative directors suggesting a soft blacklist. This isn't a formal ban, but rather a collective agreement to pivot away from her aesthetic in favor of figures who represent the old money aesthetic that is currently dominating the market. The industry secret is that Meghan's brand has been labeled as too commercial and too reliant on tabloid headlines, which is the kiss of death for brands like Chanel that thrive on being above the fray. We have seen the fallout manifest in real time. Remember the rumors that Meghan was going to be the new face of Dior? That was a classic case of PR stunt versus genuine chaos. While her team was leaking to the press that a $20 million deal was imminent, the House of Dior was forced to issue a rare and pointed clarification that no such deal existed. This public rejection was a turning point. It signaled to the rest of the fashion world that Meghan was no longer protected by the royal halo and was fair game for exclusion. Our third revelation involves the specific legal tension with high-level executives. The rumors regarding a potential legal dispute with a Chanel executive are not just about personal feelings, but about the strict protocols of luxury house brand ambassadors. In the world of elite fashion, a lawsuit, or even the threat of one, is enough to get a name scrubbed from every guest list, from the Met Gala to the front row of Paris Fashion Week. The luxury world values discretion above all else, and the Sussex brand is perceived as the opposite of discreet. According to a retail analyst, the data shows that while her name generates clicks, it no longer generates the high-value conversions that these heritage brands require to justify the risk of association. The situation took a darker turn recently, with the viral reports of a massive $8 million lawsuit from Chanel centered on the practice of wardrobing. For those who don't know, the industry term wardrobing refers to purchasing or borrowing high-value items, wearing them for photo shoots or events, and then returning them under false pretenses. The allegations claim that over 18 months, Meghan, through various intermediaries, returned 47 separate items that had clearly been used. While no official court filing has been confirmed by the legacy press, social media has been flooded with supposed internal logs from Chanel boutiques documenting the condition of these returns. According to a source who spoke to a London-based publication, the House of Chanel prefers quiet control over public confrontation, but the scale of the alleged loss was simply too high to ignore. This brings us to the fourth revelation, and the most damaging one for her personal brand, the Royal Archive controversy. A source recently leaked to Page 6 that Meghan allegedly kept a $1,700 dress from a high-profile photo shoot, claiming it was needed for her royal archive. Insiders have pointed out that a royal archive for a non-working royal living in California doesn't actually exist in any official capacity. This behavior has reportedly alienated top-tier stylists who are now terrified that if they loan her pieces, they won't get them back in one piece or at all. The reputational damage among the gatekeepers of the fashion closets in New York and Paris is absolute. If the stylists are blacklisting you, the brands don't even have to make a formal decision. You're just out. This brings us back to the infamous Paris Fashion Week of 2025, which many are calling the final nail in the coffin. Reports surfaced that Meghan arrived in the city for what her team called a private fashion excursion, but the reality was a series of closed doors. Sources indicated that her name had been flagged weeks prior, with a note circulating to fashion house staff to deny any unscheduled appearances. At Dior, the rejection was reportedly polite but firm, with the communications lead informing her team that there was no reservation for the Duchess. The humiliation of being turned away from the shows you once headlined is a level of rejection that most celebrities never recover from. Within the LVMH network, which owns the world's most powerful labels, her name began circulating on an internal restricted list. This list isn't just for people who are unfashionable, it is for people deemed too controversial or unpredictable for the brand's long-term health. The ultimate sign of this fashion exile is the pivot to lifestyle goods under the American Riviera Orchard, now rebranded as Ever. While her supporters see this as a creative evolution, industry experts see it as a forced retreat. When the doors to the world of high couture are slammed shut, you are left with no choice but to sell jams and home goods. The trademark rejections she has faced for this new venture only add to the sense of a brand in freefall. The USPTO recently rejected her application because the name was too geographically descriptive, and the branding lacked the distinctiveness required for luxury protection. This is a far cry from the days when the mere mention of a Givenchy dress she wore would break the internet. We also have to address the controversial filming incident near the Pont d'Alma tunnel in Paris. Parisians and fashion insiders alike were reportedly horrified by what they saw as a tone-deaf attempt to evoke the memory of Princess Diana for a commercial project. A senior stylist noted that Diana's legacy belongs to memory, not marketing, and this incident crossed a line that many in the industry found unforgivable. It signaled that Meghan was willing to use even the most tragic royal history to bolster her fading spotlight. This lack of professional boundaries is exactly why luxury houses who value their heritage above all else are keeping their distance. The fashion world moves in cycles, but the bridge burning that has occurred over the last 24 months appears to be permanent. We are looking at a situation where the gatekeepers of style have collectively decided that the drama outweighs the drip. The receipts from the WME agency transition and the subsequent lack of major fashion campaigns speak volumes. While her PR team tries to spin this as a choice to focus on her own ventures, the industry knows the truth. You cannot be a global fashion icon if the people who make the fashion refuse to pick up the phone. This is the reality of the Hollywood fashion machine. When the spotlight turns into a searchlight, it often reveals the cracks that the PR teams have been trying to hide for years. The fashion world is a small circle, and once you're out, it is nearly impossible to get back in. We will continue to track the movement of the major houses, but as of now, the consensus is clear. The door is locked and the keys have been changed. The fallout from this systematic exile will likely define the next decade of her public persona as she attempts to rebuild a brand without the support of the elite institutions she once leaned so heavily on. This is the price of high-stakes drama in an industry that prefers high-stakes silence. According to an editor at a major fashion magazine, the consensus is that the brand is now seen as toxic to the carefully curated image of European luxury. This isn't just about one dress or one event, it's about a total shift in how the industry views the intersection of royalty and celebrity. The era of the Sussex fashion dominance has ended, and the era of the fashion blacklist has begun. Even the most powerful agents in Hollywood are struggling to find a luxury house willing to take the risk of a long-term partnership. The data simply does not support it anymore.
High-value conversions have plummeted, and the social media sentiment is increasingly focused on the drama rather than the design. When a brand like Chanel and Dior looks at a potential ambassador, they are looking for someone who elevates the clothes, someone who becomes synonymous with the elegance of the house. Right now, Meghan Markle is synonymous with litigation, leaks, and a constant battle with the press. In the world of high fashion, that is the ultimate faux pas. The silence from the front rows of the major fashion weeks tells you everything you need to know. No invites, no front row seats, and no custom couture. The fashion world has spoken, and their message is one of quiet but absolute exclusion. As we look at the timeline from her royal wedding to the current state of her lifestyle brand, the trajectory is undeniable. The luxury world gave her a chance, but the constant chaos proved to be too high a price for admission. Now she's left building her own empire from the ground up, far away from the gilded halls of Paris and Milan. It remains to be seen if As Ever can capture even a fraction of the prestige she once held. But one thing is certain, the fashion elite are no longer waiting for her arrival. They have moved on to new muses and new icons who understand that in the world of luxury, silence is the ultimate accessory.